A fine old vehicle. Old Murray. Okay, the problem here was no power steering, very large wheel to get leverage. As you can see, it's also a bit squashed in here. It was a very upright driving position in these old cars, which is where this 10-to-2 position came from, just hanging on to the top of the wheel here, resting, because 1/4-to-3, which is the most natural way to steer, it's tight on you. You're tight up against the wheel, tight up against the squab of the seat back here. If you can see, my elbows going into the seat when I turn, and so people were taught to drive at the 10-to-2 position. Also, with steering, we developed this thing of not going past the 12 o'clock position, and it was done by an old policeman who was tasked with the steering situation for the police training and for the test. And I'm afraid it's just a bit military. He got it almost right, but hopelessly wrong. It doesn't flow, it's very noisy, and everyone drops it straight after the test, all for the sake of one little thing, which is when we want to turn, say, to the right, just come across to the left and pull. You get maximum leverage here because of it's called latissimus dorsi. It's a big muscle down the side of the body, and we're able to easily pull that round, and we'll just show you that. Okay, so one of the problems here with the old system coming up to the 12 o'clock position is that if you're asked to pull on something, you wouldn't naturally, if you were offered this to pull, you wouldn't start there and try and pull. That's not natural. It doesn't work with the muscles of the body. That does. If I do that, I'm now coming back into this latissimus dorsi, and now I've got a really good pull, an easy pull. So I would go to there and I can pull nice and easily, whereas if I start there, I'm already half through, my muscles a natural way through its main pulling point. Now if I want to go left, I just bring my hand over to the right and just pull through, and immediately you start to turn, the weight of your arm and gravity helps. The big muscle down the side of the body, the latissimus dorsi, does the pulling. Whereas, let me show you, if you, as most people do, they push the car into the corner. Now if you're coming into the corner and we're going to go left, and I push, I'm using 3 little tiny muscles in the shoulder. They're the smallest muscles in the body. They're called the deltoids. So I'm lifting the weight of my arm against gravity, against the lateral forces that are acting on it. It's all being done. Now even with power steering, you tend to find, and you'll see yourself doing this and become aware of it and watch others, they tend to do the motorcycle job. They lean into the corner because it's not an easy thing, even with power steering. So they tend to lean, and if we're going right, they tend to push and they tend to lean. Also now, what happens? If you get that far, we're going left, we push to that point, what happens if we need more wheel? Well, then we have to start climbing the wheel, and we get this kind of thing going on. Sometimes people even get almost stuck. Whereas with the other system, all that happens is we take the wheel at that point, it comes round one, and we just finish with one push, and we'll see that when we're out on the road. So that's the essence. It was because there was no power steering, the wheels had to be very large, we're close up on the wheel, the driving position's very upright, so 10-to-2 was what was taught. It's not relevant to modern cars with small wheels and power steering, whereas I'm afraid back then it was the only way. But this shuffle and just not going past the 12 o'clock position is just old hat. It was never right in its day. It was, he got it wrong. Okay, well now we're into a much more modern car, much smaller wheel, much more room behind the wheel, a much nicer deportment when we're driving. And so when we come to general steering, the most logical way to steer is at the 1/4-to-3 position. You'll find most wheels are designed for that, as this one is. Hook your thumbs is very comfortable, 1/4-to-3, nice control over the wheel. Now then, when it comes to turning, instead of this old shuffle, which everyone does away with, as we've said, it's noisy, it doesn't flow, it's awkward, but hey, with this small addition, we want to go right, just come across to the left here, so we could be at a junction, and you'll see this when we're driving, and just go from there. That uses the weight of the arm plus gravity plus the big muscle in the side of the body, and it just comes through so smoothly, and then you can just finish with a small push at the end. So really that's all there is to it. It's a small change, but now we'll always pull the car through the corner. We just come over, we pull the wheel, we grab a handful. That's the message really. Grab a handful, pull and push to finish. That's it. And you'll find this will change your entire approach to steering. None of this messy hands all over the place, pushing the car around the corner as most people do, using the smallest muscles in the body. But just a very minimalist, efficient, highly effective, uses the big muscle, gravity, and the weight of your arm does most. And you'll see when we're out on the road, you can actually steer with your finger and thumb. It's such a delight. Small change, quite profound, radical improvement. You'll get so much more out of your driving. So here we are, around in the back streets of Bridlington. Now we're coming up to a left-hander, so we will just come out, just check that the road is clear first. Now we're going around to the left, so hand slightly over to the right and a push to finish. So again, we're going to turn left here, we're going in, so it's a right angle turn, hand over and push to finish. It's as easy as that. There's nothing to it. Then just let the wheel come back through your hands. The key thing is going past the 12 o'clock position. Same here, tight turn, hand over, push to finish if needed. So just keep going around here just to show you. So here we go, left hand turn, check the road is clear, hand over and push to finish. It really couldn't be easier. No faffing, no hand over hand, no whole body movement. Let's have a look and see what otherwise would be going on. We'd be coming here, right, road is clear, we'd be doing all this, hands going everywhere. Let's just have a look as we go around. So we do the same circuit. Here we go. We mustn't do that. Let's do it the way you push on. Sorry, I have to do that again. I can't do it the old way. Right, here we go. So coming to a corner, this is what normally happens. Now we push in, that's as far as the hand can go. But I can't go straight on, so I've got to bring my hand over. I have to climb. It's messy, my body's coming out of the seat. I'm moving my whole upper body. We'll do that again. So we're coming up to the left here. And I push to start with, which is what most do. I can go as far as that, can't go far enough. I've now got to climb. It's messy. So let's have a look and see how we can otherwise go. We come up to the junction, hand across, 1, 2. Coming off here now, left hand turn. So, hand across, pull, push.